he's yelling and why he's upset and why he's sleeping, and the wife can only do so much. She's been carrying it for a couple of years, maybe on and off.
Dealing with children is one of the 5 core topics addressed by this Reconnection workshop. It's
Very
basically
good.
someone comes home, they've been deployed for a year, they had an infant, and now the infant is 1 or one and a half.
Running
and
around.
Who is this, and why do I have to listen to you? And so, yeah, we can provide some guidance.
Because I've noticed that's the area I kind of find people don't say they're helping in. And to me, the family, and of course I was a teacher, so children to me are number one, and I don't want to see them left on the sideline, you know. And I've asked, and many of them say most of their programs are strictly, they cut off at the veteran. So you're reaching over that and helping the family and the children and anyone in need. There's grandparents, I think, that have need, because they've taken over the children, and they can use some help. And they're more private, they're not ones to ask, so it's for them to know that there is people out there to help them. You know, that's why I wanted the program, so I could reach across the line and bring out things that we're doing that people don't know there's people out there.
Exactly. The more people that know about the work that we're doing, the more people that we can help. I mean, if we are going to these yellow ribbon events on the bases, we're reaching the families who are right there, and the military that are being deployed, but then there are a lot of people that we're not able to reach. We are going out and talking to groups of at VFWs and community organizations at their monthly meetings. But as you said, there are people who are not part of a community, and these are the people that we hope to reach. And the more people we can offer services to, the better work we can do.
That's right. Do you lecture at any other city or state in the country, what you're doing here, that they don't have?
Well, the Service to Armed Forces program is a core service offered by the American Red Cross in all of the divisions we have across the country.
Okay.
So the core services that provide emergency services and service to veterans in hospitals, as well as service to in military hospitals. These are the core services. The information and referral, the caseworking, and anything else that we can provide, these can be tailored to the needs of the community. So for example, here in Massachusetts, we started, in partnership with the Greater Boston Food Bank, a mobile food pantry for veterans that we offer quarterly at the Brockton VA on that campus. You know, it addresses one of the needs I talked about earlier. It's that these people are having trouble with their monthly budgets. So if we can help them with groceries for 1 week, that's money that they can actually allocate somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's true. It's a thin amount of money that's coming into most of the homes today.
Yeah.
And some of them are ill. They couldn't work if they wanted to. They're disabled themselves, you know.
We have volunteers. I have volunteers on my team who are veterans, and one in particular who is a disabled veteran. He's one of my best volunteers.
Yeah, well, they've been disciplined for that.
It's amazing.
Responsibility, pride.
Get it done.
Got it all, yeah. You ever see an old veteran walk down the street? An older man, he may be in his 80s already, Second World War. And you look at him, you would say, that guy's just a veteran. You can tell because they carry themselves no matter how old they get, and I love them when I see them do that, you know, because it's a pride that they can't lose, and a comradeship with their own friend. You should see them at meetings when they haven't seen each other for a year, and I mean it's just like the doors open wide, you know.
Yeah.
They say, I didn't know you were still around. How you doing? You know, and it's nice to see them. I love to see them. That's why I go to conventions. Is mainly for seeing them. I haven't seen somebody for a whole year, and then I find they're on oxygen or they've had problems, and it's wonderful to let them know that you still care enough about them. So this way you're opening doors, and more people are caring for each other. The neighbors are grand to some of the people. They know neighbors that are ill or anything, and they're there, they'll help out. So this is just another adjunct for it.
Exactly, and the more I can grow my volunteer base, the more we can work locally and do these things that you're talking about, care about the people in our communities. And we can do things like helping a veteran shovel snow out of their driveway, or a wife whose husband is deployed, you know, just these little things.
Now, women veterans, do they ever approach you separately from if they're on their own?
Well, you know, we have about, it's about a 90% male the statistics are that we're 90% male in Massachusetts. We do have women veterans who contact us for emergency services. There are other community resources for them. The Department of Veterans Services has a specific program for the women. So I would guess that they might be migrating there rather than to us.
It's very difficult to get them to come forward.
Right, but we do, again, when we're providing our basic needs items, the donations, we have separate packets that tailor items to women as opposed to men, and our services are available no matter what your gender is, obviously.
You don't have any visiting people go into the nursing homes in the area?
Not to the nursing homes, but we do have people going to the veterans hospitals.
The hospital?
Yes, in fact, we have a monthly social music hour. We have one of our volunteers also plays the guitar, ukulele, and banjo.
That's nice.
And we go to the Brockton VA, and we go to the Jamaica Plain VA, and we serve coffee and cake and cookies, and she sings and plays for an hour. And it's a several-fold program that we do. First and foremost, we're letting the veterans know that we care, that people care.
That's what's important, right?
And it also lets the people who work for the hospitals know that we care and that we're there to support them in the work that we do.
Do you have a phone number that they could contact your department?
Yes, we do. So for emergency services, a military person, a veteran, or their family member would call our emergency service number, and that's 877-272-7337. And that's for emergency services. If they wanted to reach me, they can call me in my office at 617-274-5233.
Very good. Because Sue will put those on the film.
Wonderful.
And
I expect the phone to start ringing.
You might get some calls from it.
Right.
And then you'll know it went over well because somebody heard it anyway, because I get that in the grocery store or in the laundromat or the Walmart. I mean, some child, they come from children too. They're at home, and they'll say, "Mommy, that's the lady on television." So I know somebody's watching, and that helps my morale too. I've been doing this a while, and I've enjoyed it because I wanted to do it. I saw the lack over 10 years ago at a banquet for the Legion, at my post's banquet. We used to have one every year. We've kind of outgrown it because we've lost our people. Most of them have passed away by now, and the mayors used to come. They were very good. They've never given us any problem. And I mentioned it to the mayor. I said, I'd like to do a program for veterans only and tell them what we give them for benefits in our area. We have 10,000 veterans was the last count I heard in those days, and I'm sure there's more now with the new ones. And he said, talk to the vet agent, get something together and let me know about it. I've been doing it ever since. And it's been great because it's just what I wanted to do.
So you're giving back to the community as well.
And I can relate to people like you and get more information for them. I've got the hospital people that come in from Providence because that's where this area goes.
Yep.
And tell them about the new departments they've got for the ears, nose, throat, and it's worked out very well. And I've enjoyed it myself, and I'll ask you, do you enjoy your work?
I started out as a volunteer. Now, I have a background in nonprofits, so service is in my blood, but there I am working as a volunteer, and I finally realized I found what I wanted to do. And every day I get up and I pinch myself and say, I can't believe I do this.
Do it.
Someone's paying me to do this. So, yeah.
Have you met anyone really special that you found you helped and they've done well since then? Have you ever had any response back from what you've given?
We have several. It's hard to pick one out. Recently we had a couple, and they were in transition, and they weren't from the area, and they wound up pretty much stranded around here. They were in Boston, and they weren't planning on staying here, but we provided them with everything we had. I mean, the full arsenal of support that we could provide to them, including the service, the referrals. The woman continued to call me after they moved down to North Carolina, and she promised that she was going to start volunteering for the Red Cross after
Very
this.
good.
She was so pleased with and how important the work that we do is.
But word of mouth is the best advertisement you can have.
I think it is.
You know.
The education, the programs that we do in speaking to community support organizations, talking directly with families, and then having them speak. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. And if a war would only stop, because we don't need it, and it solves nothing, and then it makes people like us try to do something to make it a little easier for people to come out of
It's true.
some of the dangerous spots they're in. I mean, it's scary, and we've got a good country, a fantastic country, and being in the military, people have been able to travel, because I've traveled, and now I'm settled with 4 children, and they're all young adults now, and I'm back to being more personally involved with myself and what I want, so I have to keep busy.
You deserved it.
I have to keep busy too, you know. But it's been a good world, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I don't know about you, but
I love Massachusetts.
The United States of America
and
is
Massachusetts,
ours.
I'll tell you, if you have to live anywhere in the United States, which we love, it would be Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I'll say
it's
yes.
great. It's wonderful. And with your work, and I'm sure you'll grow more and more as time goes on. And we'll have you back again in the near future.
It would be my
when
pleasure.
you get some additional things, or I think I could have you do a program with some group. They're looking for someone that they wanted information from. We'll get you in, and we even serve food. So you'll
Well, then I'll be here.
That's a good incentive, I'm sure. So, Lynn, I'm glad you came.
Thank you
It's been
so much.
very nice of you, and nice to meet you.
Likewise, it was my pleasure.
Thank you, Nubeth, for joining us on our next program.